First game we're going to preview. Penn
Mhm.
State at Ohio State. Wow. The first two of the big three meet in the Big Ten East there. This game for me is really tough to look at because I don't know how much I believe in Penn State's offensive line, but you know what I do believe in? But like relative to like what we thought their offensive line was going to be, right? I'm not saying they're a bad offensive line at all. That is not what I'm saying. Uh, these defenses. That's what I believe in. I believe in these defenses right here. The spread is 4.5. At 4.5, obviously, because it's in the shoe. How are you feeling about picking this game?
First of all, I'm just excited. I don't really have a strong feel either way. I think we still don't know a lot about these teams. I think we expect these teams to be peaking, and I don't think we've seen their best football yet. Will we ever see it this year? I don't know, but we might see it in this game, and that'll determine obviously the winner of this game gets put in an absolute driver's seat, right? If you're because then you can still lose and potentially get in or you control your own destiny. You don't need stuff to happen in the other game with Michigan. Obviously the trilogy there with these three teams at the top of the Big Ten. But hasn't it? It's been a while since Penn State's beaten Ohio State. It doesn't feel like that long ago, but 2016. That was when
That,
Saquon
is that
Barkley was there.
is that Trace McSorley too?
That was McSorley, a young Barkley, and the block PAT on. And Penn State went on to win the Big Ten, I believe, and win the Rose Bowl there against USC. That was a long time ago. Since Ryan Day's gotten Ohio State, they have done very well against James Franklin and Penn State. And I do think this coaching matchup is definitely something I'm going to watch out for. Not only at the head coaching level, but the coordinator level, right? Manny Diaz versus this Ohio State offense, Brian Hartline and Ryan Days, and then Mike Yurkich and Jim Knowles, two fantastic coordinators in their own right too. It's awesome. Two young quarterbacks got to prove themselves. We believe a stable of running backs on both sides of the ball. However, to be honest, I'm not expecting Trevon Henderson to play. I don't have any intel. I just based on his career, based on what's happened this year, I'm not banking on it for Ohio State, but I still believe Ohio State's going to win this game. Give me the better team, I think, a little bit at home. Right, it's hard to pick against that. There are plenty of paths for Penn State to pull the upset here, and I wouldn't even call it a huge upset. Obviously, neutral site, this is a 1 point game. It's a pick 'em game, But going on the road is gonna be tough for Drew Lar. First test for him. The Ohio State defense, like you talked about earlier, and bringing up this game was the defenses is what's legit on both these teams. Obviously, there's talent on the offensive side of the ball with Marvin Harrison Jr., Mecca Buka, the stable running backs Penn State has, and some good wide receivers as well. But the defenses, man, it's gonna be a different looking game than it has been in the past with how well the defenses I think are gonna play.
Yeah, if you remember this game last year, this game was close. It was a close football game until Tua Lamolau,
Yep.
whatever, however you pronounce that,
JTT.
JTT, till he just absolutely took over that second half. I'm gonna fade you here. I'm gonna take Penn State. I'm gonna take the points, and I'm gonna take it to win the game. And I hate that pick because they're on the road against a rival, against not just a rival, a very, very, very good football team, a tier 1 football team. But I think Penn State, like we said, we haven't seen like the absolute dominance from their offensive line, but they're a good offensive line, right? I think they'll be able to run the ball well enough. And the biggest thing that I'm looking at is Drew Aller can take care of the football. He does not turn the ball over very well. He doesn't put the ball in danger, which is really important, especially for a young quarterback. So I believe in both of these defenses almost equally, but I just think Penn State has the edge there. I think Drew Aller will take care of the football, and I think they have some DBs to potentially match up with Marvin Harrison. We saw what Notre Dame was able to do, lock him down, Benjamin Morrison on him, and then they also had some help over the top there. So I have a feeling that they're going to have some kind of combination where they're able to effectively do that. I trust Manny Diaz in the same way that I trust Jim Knowles. But yeah, especially like if you're going to give me 4.5 points, Penn State as a dog, I'll take them. But if I'm taking 4.5, I think they're also going to win the game. I just think Ohio State hasn't looked. Neither of these teams have looked perfect. But I just think like if Ohio State can't score points, I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, but that's why the defense I think gives them cushion this year to win with their change up, at their off speed pitch. However, I do think something that needs to be said and why I do lean Ohio State because I do believe these teams are so evenly matched is that game against Notre Dame. While yes, they got outplayed on the road and they probably should have lost that game, could have lost that game very easily, right? But that experience matters. That's priceless, going into a hostile environment, playing a very talented team in Notre Dame and getting a win there, right? Penn State have not been battle tested yet. Doesn't mean they're not going to be ready for this game, but I think it's something worth noting in terms of Ohio State's been there. Kyle McCord has that big experience under his belt, while Drew Lar, not only is his first road test, this is his team's first test against a very talented roster all year. But with all due respect to the Penn State schedule and West Virginia and them, right? Ohio State's a different animal. I think we all know that. I do think Denzel Burke, he's been a little bit banged up. I hope he really plays. I think he's going to play, for what been hearing, but he would be a huge boost because without him, obviously he's maybe one of the best DBs in the conference there in Ohio State. But yeah, like you mentioned, I think that matchup between Penn State's DBs and Marvin Harrison Jr. and the wide receivers on Ohio State is gonna be awesome. The matchups all over the field. Has the making of a very special game
I
because
agree.
of those matchups. Not only is it two elite teams with a lot of potential, like the macro sense of this game is huge, but the micro sense in terms of matchups, coaching matchups, DB wide receiver matchups, O-line, D-line matchups, right? We talk about Penn State's linebackers early in the year. They're fantastic, right? Against the run game against Ohio State. And even getting after the passer there too. It's incredible. It's is really, really incredible. We're blessed to have this experience.
Yeah, I love it. I'm pumped. I am pumped. I don't blame you for taking Ohio State though.
I do think real quick, I want to say this, like, and not to turn this into like a college football playoff expansion segment, but like let's like really enjoy this, right? As a 14 playoff where the loser of this game might be eliminated from playoff contention just because they lose this game, right? Like that. This is awesome. Cherish this moment. Cherish this game. Both sides are gonna be fired up and ready to go. And obviously, the atmosphere there in Columbus doesn't get many high impact games. Maybe one or twice a year. This will be one of them for sure.